Okay, today we'll move on to projection of pyramids when it is resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, and also when it is resting on one of its inclined edge on HP with axis inclination given to VP. Before we go for this, I'll just refresh the previous one. Whenever we had actually in case of the prisms, when it is resting on one of its rectangular faces on HP or resting on longer edges on HP, we used to directly draw that polygon, the first view on HP, making one of the edge of that to rest on XY line is nothing but is resting on one of its rectangular faces. And if we have any corner, so because corner of a polygon will represent actually a longer edge, so resting on XY line is nothing but resting on longer edges on HP. In that way, whenever you have any prism saying that it's resting on one of its rectangular surfaces or resting on one of its longer edges on HP, then the axis will going to give inclination to VP. In that case, used to draw this view, then used to incline the axis because it was in the true length here directly to get the view. So in two steps you used to get the answer in both the cases. Whereas in case of the pyramid, it's not possible in that way, because whenever if say that is resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, then actually axis is going to incline with that plane. So axis is going to incline with that plane, the same inclination, something like this. That surface actually makes the not the same surface, but we're going to have say the axis inclined. Okay, so if that is the case, now the axis is going to incline by this amount. Okay, see, so it will going to incline, the axis will incline. Okay, it will not be actually, just go for that. So resting in VP, I'll just explain. See, the axis is not going to be parallel with VP, so it will going to incline because one end of the axis will be here, the other end will be touching VP, so the axis will incline to VP. The same way, if triangular surface is resting on HP, when it rests here, okay, so the axis will not be in the true length. In that case, you cannot directly use that to draw, as in case of the prisms, in two steps. So that you have to go for drawing three steps, something like this. So we'll see how whenever you have any prism saying that it's resting on one of its any pyramid, when it is resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, then you used to keep that edge of the triangular face which is going to rest on HP perpendicular to XY line. Then you construct a polygon. If it is a triangle, construct a triangle. If it is a square, if it is a pentagon, construct like this, something like an edge position. So then the next step is to make this triangular surface which represents in the front view to lie on this line. Take the same length, you mark it here, then you can go for drawing a triangle. Redraw this triangle, then so we can redraw this here. Drawing, say, the axis. So this is actually B dash and C dash. This is A and D. With D in the bracket and C in the bracket with dashes. This is O dash, this is O dash. So even we can see that whenever it is resting on one of its triangular faces, the axis is going to make an inclination with HP. The same way I explained, when it is resting on one of its triangular faces in VP, the axis is going to incline to VP. So you can see that a similar condition will be in case of HP. When it is resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, the axis is going to incline with HP. So you cannot do that case in case of the, because when this is inclined, you cannot keep that solid resting on one of its triangular faces directly in VP, because the view what you see in the front, okay, so because this is inclined, you will not see the true shape. In that case, you cannot draw your first view polygon as you draw in case of the prisms, because in the prisms that end faces will be perpendicular to VP, parallel to VP and perpendicular to HP. So they will be parallel. When you are looking at this, so you'll see the true shape of that, then you can go for drawing the true shape. Whereas in case of the pyramid, so when they say resting on the horizontal plane, the view what you see will not be the true length. So in that case, you cannot start your view directly in VP, drawing that indirectly in VP. In that case, you have to go for drawing all the 3 steps, so that you can do actually even in case of the prism. In that case, you'll go for drawing something like this. So this is your prism, so this is your rectangular surface. Make that rectangular surface to lie on HP, then you get your view. So that view should be redrawn to give the axis inclination, then you will get the final view. So 3 steps method you have to follow instead of drawing directly like this in 2 steps. So as in this case of the pyramid, you cannot go for drawing directly in 2 steps. You have to draw the 3 steps in that case. So this will be the view. So go for drawing the view in this way, complete that pyramid. So get the front view, then this represent actually the triangular face. Because it says the triangular face is resting on HP, I'm drawing this on HP, then we'll redraw this view here. Okay, so taking this length, drawing an arc, and taking this length on that, because I have drawn already this here. So then the projection of this, what you see here, will not be in the true length. Okay, so project even the O1, then we'll go for drawing that. So the axis, then this is okay, A, sorry, A and A, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D, this is O1, this is O1, you go through that. Okay, so in this case, when it is resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, so the base of the pyramid is visible, because you can make out here, you can, otherwise you can cross check in this way, go for looking at the axis. So the end of the axis which is in the base is nearer to you compared to the apex. So in that case, so the base is visible, in that way you can make out. Okay, so go for completing all the edges of the base edges. So then you go for the outermost edges, then the complete view will be having the surfaces. Now the edges which are not joined are OB, right? Okay, and CO. So BO and CO, you cannot have a dark line on the visible end face, so that should be an invisible edge. So you know how to draw the invisible edge. Complete that with a dashed line. So in this case, so show the axis also, because there is no overlapping of the edge here. So now see the axis here is inclined with HP. The projection of the axis here, that is nothing but on the HP, is nothing but the top view, is now in the apparent length. If you have a problem something like this, saying that, say same problem, I'll take a square prism of 30 mm, square pyramid of 30 mm base edges, and the height of 60 mm is resting on one of its triangular faces in HP, such that the axis is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. They say the pyramid, a square pyramid, is resting on one of its triangular faces. In that case, we'll go for drawing any pyramid, the same procedure. We'll go for drawing the edge, then we'll go to complete that polygon, then we'll get that apex and right the axis line. So that view we're going to redraw. In this case, you'll see that the axis, the projection of the axis on HP will be now the apparent. So in the problem it says the axis is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So in that case, so the given inclination of the axis of the pyramid in that problem will be the true inclination. So you cannot use the true inclination for this apparent length unless they give that sentences what I told you previously, that actually the apparent inclinations. So in that case, you need not find beta. If otherwise, in this case, it says axis is inclined to VP, because this is apparent, you have to go for finding beta. So what you do is, you go for drawing a line with a given inclination. So take the true length of the line, you transfer it here. So draw the locus, then taking this apparent length, you will going to cut that axis. So this is the procedure to get the beta. So now this is the inclination beta. Since the axis is apparent here, I am finding apparent angle beta instead of inclination with VP directly. If they mention that three sentences, what I said, so appears to be inclined at 30 degrees, instead of saying that the axis is inclined at 30 degrees to VP, so if he says such that the axis appears to be inclined at 30 degrees to VP, then I need not take beta, because the given inclination itself is the beta angle. Or the projection of the axis or the top view is inclined, or the plane containing that axis is inclined. In that way, if you gives that sentence is inclined at 30 degrees to VP, then I need not go for finding beta. But here there's no that such sentences are given, say in the problem, then you have to go for finding beta. Then I know the next procedure. You have to go for drawing this. So take anywhere, this is only for the construction to get the beta. Let it be very very thin when you draw. So on this you can just go for taking O anywhere. So don't worry about this line. Okay, so then you will take this length O to the apparent length. Okay. So because I've taken previously here, so now I'm shifting that because it should not cross anything. So to go for taking that length. Okay. So say this is O, then this is O1. Then the extension on that line will going to have this the line. Then I'll go for taking this length at that height. Okay, so parallel to this axis, so I can get this D, or you can inscribe that 1 2 3 4 in a rectangle. You can go for drawing a rectangle. That will be the very easy best method if you have a pentagonal and hexagonal pyramid. In this case it's only 2 points I am going for. In that way better we'll go for in that same procedure. I'll get this as A, this is that might be, this is C. So this is 1 2 3 4, right? Okay. So that's the construction. Let it be very very thin when you draw that. Okay. So the complete surface is visible. So complete that. So this is visible and this is the apparent, and what do you call the invisible edges. So the axis line. So that's why you draw everything. Let it be very very thin. When if I see overwrite that, because this should be a medium thickness. If I already written medium thickness, I cannot make out the difference between that thin line, okay, the construction line, and this axis line. Let it be very very thin whenever you draw that line. So you have to differentiate that line thicknesses. Then only you can go for drawing. Anyway, just so this, okay. So A and A, check out where is A and A. So this is A dash. So again we want this also O1, right? I'll go for B and B. So B and B is here, B dash. C and C. So this is C dash. D and D. So this is right, okay, D dash. So this is B dash, sorry, this is B dash and this is, so O1 and O1, so this is O1 dash and O and O. So this is O dash, right, okay, this is O dash. So since the base is near to the observer, I can go for completing all the base edges with a thick continuous line, right, okay, then I'll go for the outermost edges. These are the outermost edges. Then 1 2 3 are coinciding here, the inclined edges. Only this edge is not completed, but I cannot draw a thick line because there will not be any line on this visible end face, right? So in that way I can easily make out that that is an invisible edge. So the axis, so you can represent with a chain line. So this is for a pyramid resting on one of its triangular faces on HB. Say the same problem, if it is says is resting on one of its inclined edges on HB, then we'll see how to draw that. I'll take a triangular pyramid. we'll go for solving some problems at the end. Okay, use pentagonal and hexagonal. Then I'll go for the corner position for this. Do we have a corner on the right side? We know the corner position I discussed. So get that ABC. So in this case, so this won't be, if it is a right regular polygon, it will be like this. Okay. Regular polygon. So this is O and O1. Project that axis to big dash, a small, a big, a small, a big, a small, a big. So this is the height of the pyramid. So A, B and C with the dashes, A in the bracket because B you can see, O1 dashes. So now this edge, because it is parallel to VP, is in the true length, and whenever you have any pyramids saying that it's resting on one of its longer edges on HP, go for the corner position so that one of this inclined edge, the top view, that should be parallel to the XY line. Is nothing but that will be the true shape. Then I can go for making this edge to lie on XY line. So this is what, this is C dash. Then you can go for constructing same triangle, right? So this may be different, don't take that. Okay, so this is the base, draw that base, taking that length. Okay, and just, okay, let it be. So using a compass, so I'm drawing roughly using hand. Okay, don't follow. Okay, same thing, go for using correct instruments. Using instruments you can easily get that correct answers. Okay. So now see, it's resting on one of its inclined edges, that is the lateral edge on HP. So now again this is nearer compared to this, so the base end is nearer. So base you can see, you can check out here. So then you have to project this. Okay, project all this. Project all this base. Just go for projecting all that. Okay. Project all the points. One. And then I'll go for projecting all this. And won't seem lie in the same line. Okay. Oh, anyway, they're not parallel. Let it be. But so this is CA, this is B, this is C, and this is O1, and this is O. Then because since base end is nearer to you, so all the edges of the base edges can go for making it a thick continuous line, visible edges. Then you go for outermost edges. So which is the heads now, which is not joined, ABC on that. So OA, OB, the OC is not joined. You cannot draw this with a thick line because you cannot have a dark line on the end face. So that is that visible face. So because that's a visible face, you cannot have a dark line. So again you can see that this is the bottommost edge. You cannot make out because they are going to have a triangular face, something like this, when it is resting on one of its height. Okay, resting on one of its inclined edge on HP. You can see this base, and this surface will cover this inclined edge. So then that becomes invisible edge. Go for drawing a dotted line. In this case, again, if they say that, again you're going to get the inclination of the axis only with VP in these two cases, whenever it's resting on one of its triangular faces in case of pyramids, and resting on inclined edges on HP. So you're going to get only the axis inclined to VP. So this is simply says that the axis is inclined to VP. So then you have to go for finding beta. If they mention the axis inclination with VPs with some sentence what I mentioned, okay, previously appears to be inclined at 30 degrees to VP and the axis. So if I create a problem for this, I can say a triangular pyramid of 30 mm base edges and height of 60 mm is resting on one of its one of its inclined edge on HP such that the axis is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. Otherwise, they say such that the axis appears to be inclined at 30 degrees. If they say appears to be inclined, then I need not go for taking beta. I can directly go for drawing the given inclination. I'll go for that sentence appears to be inclined at 30 degrees to VP, or you can have one more sentence, two, actually three I said, okay, so the two. So projection of the axis on HP is nothing but the top view, or they may say projection of the axis on HP is inclined at 30 degrees, or they say the top view of the axis is inclined at 30 degrees. Even then you need not go for taking beta. And also if they say a plane containing the axis and the edge which is resting on HP is inclined, even then just incline this with the given inclination, need not go for finding beta. So we will assume that if they are given this one of the sentence out of these three, then we'll go for directly drawing inclined to VP at some 30 degrees or something. So I can inscribe this in 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangle, or because it's only a triangle I can just go for drawing this 4 to C or mark, okay. So it's a very simple sketch. I can just go for constructing this triangle to get that point, taking this length, construct, you can get this point directly A, and drawing this C to B, same length, and again this will be also same length if it is properly drawn. So I can get this A and B, and this is C and this is O. I can get that V1 O1. I can redraw this view in the same way which is available the previous view what you got, right? Then get the final view, right? Just projecting all this. I'm not going to draw for any other views, only for this. I'll just draw this view anyway, to get that, okay. So projecting all this point, drawing locus from all the points, you can locate this and you can complete the view, right? Anyway, this is the, so A and A, this is A dash, B and B, so this is B dash, C and C, so this is C dash, O and this is O1 dash, and this is O dash, so O and O, right? So again here, so this end is nearer to me compared to this, so the base end is nearer to you, so base is visible. So go for completing all the base edges with the thick line, then you complete these. So which edge is not joined here? AO is not joined because BO, CO is. You go for checking all that edges, so you cannot have a dark line on this visible end face, so there should be a dotted line, and the axis again represent with a chain line. So this is the procedure for any pyramid whenever they say that it's resting on one of its triangular faces on HP, or resting on one of its inclined edges on HP with axis inclination with VP is given. If they say simply axis is inclined, then you go for finding beta. If they give some three sentences, then you need not go for finding beta. So redraw that inclination, beta or the true inclination, or the whatever the inclination what is given. If you find the sentence, because the given inclination appears to be inclined is nothing but the apparent inclination directly given. So whatever the inclination given, if you find that sentence, you can directly draw that and get your views. So this is about the problems. In case of the pyramids, the same condition is same procedure for all the pyramids. So I'll stop it here.